Hello, today's recipe in Granny's kitchen is chilli. I'm actually just going to be using some frozen chopped chilli. This bag I actually bought in Morrison's, but I do believe you get something similar in other stores. So the 2 blocks of green chilli come like that. It makes it so much easier when you're making this recipe. It does consist of your pound of mince, your chilli, 2 tins of chopped tomatoes, and I prefer the Napolini, they're nice and rich. Some cocoa powder, and again, don't use drinking chocolate, you must use a proper cocoa chocolate. We need a tin of kidney beans. We need either 2 small carrots or 1 large carrot. I've got an onion here already topped and tailed, but I'm going to chop it in my trusty Kenwood. 1 clove of garlic, and we're adding oregano, ground cumin, ground coriander, and 1 callo beef cube, and some tomato puree and some Lean perms. Okay, so I'm using a good quality steak mince from our local butcher. So I'm putting this on, first of all, to brown the mince. Now, as the mince is browning, I can easily be chopping the onion and the carrot and the clove of garlic. Chop your garlic first and just stick it in your Kenwood or whatever device you have. I'll do the same with the carrot, because I'm going to cook all of this in the slow cooker rather than on the stove. It can easily be cooked on top of the stove, but the cooker gives you a lovely soft mince. I haven't added any oil or anything to the mince because there'll be a certain amount of fat will come out of the mince, even though it's steak mince. With the onion, quartering or cutting it into 8ths, adding it to the Kenwood, because this will blitz everything. Should have diced it down quite nicely, and I tend to just add everything into here as it's browning. The reason that the carrot is added to chilli, it gives it a certain amount of sweetness. You can also add some red pepper or green peppers. You can also add a dash of red wine, which I don't tend to do with this particular recipe. So as this mince is browning with the garlic and the onion and the carrot, I can be thinking about all the dry ingredients that go into this. Once it's in the slow cooker, it'll all break down nicely. Gives you a nice soft mince when you cook. Right, so it's browning, and I need to add a teaspoonful of each of the following. Now, this is my half teaspoon size. So I'm adding a teaspoonful of ground cumin. This is a half teaspoon size, that's why I'm doing 2. A teaspoonful of ground coriander, 2 spoons of the oregano. So I need to put in 4 of those, and it's heaped teaspoonfuls of oregano. Frozen green chilli. I use quite a lot of frozen herbs, because you get lovely bags of those in Iceland, and these green chilies actually came from Morrison's. Now, added to that, we have 1 tablespoonful of Lean perms, Worcester sauce. That just goes in to add a little bit of taste to that. 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. Quite generous with the tomato puree. Now, we don't actually add the kidney beans until it's cooked. These are the last things that go in. Rinse them and drain them properly before adding to the chilli at the end. So added to this, once your mince is sufficiently browned and all the other ingredients are stirred in, I'm going to add 2 tins of tomato puree. I think I mentioned you can actually put a splash of red wine in it if you wish, but I'm not going to do that. So there's 2 tins. And because I'm using the slow cooker, I won't really need too much fluid, because a lot of the liquid, because of the slow cooking process, a lot of the liquid will come out of the carrots and the onions. I'll add my 1 callo beef cube this time. All right, just break that up, because I want this to be fairly warm before I add it into the slow cooker. And it'll cook in the slow cooker for about maybe an hour on high and maybe 3 hours on low, or you can keep it on low for a longer time. And before it goes into the slow cooker, it's 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. Just add that in at the top and just make sure that's all stirred in. It gives it a nice rich colour, And then we're going to add all of this to the slow cooker and just leave it for 4 hours. If you're cooking on the stove, you have to be very, very careful because you would need a lot more. You need to maybe add a little water or something. Move the slow cooker over, switch that on. Just check it's actually at low because I'm just going to leave this on at low maybe for about 4 hours. But it's important it's hot before it goes into the slow cooker. Leave that cooking for 4 hours. And at the very end, drain your kidney beans and then stir them through maybe for the last half hour or so of cooking or just before you heat it up.